The Lazy Dads podcast contains lots of swearing. Lots and lots of swearing. You have been warned.
Lazy Dads, Lazy Dads, Lazy Dads, Lazy Dads.
You're listening to the Lazy Dads Guide to Movies with the two greatest podcast hosts in the world, me and him. Woo! Welcome. Now we've been out now for, 4 weeks?
4 weeks, yeah, as I've been gallivanting around the world.
Oh, fucking Mr. New Job over there.
New job. Spends most of his time staring at the back of a Ryanair seat.
I suppose jump straight into it. I watched a bunch of movies. You watched a bunch of movies.
I watched a bunch of movies. I wonder did we watch the same thing? Any of them the same thing?
Well, you saw one in the cinema, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
What'd you say?
I saw It Part 2.
Yeah. What'd you think of it?
Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, so I enjoyed it.
I didn't enjoy it as much as the first one. It sticks, like it did things in the film that were in the book that were lacking from the first one, like the smoke hole scene.
Yeah.
I thought that was very well done. The assault at the start on your man Adrian Mellon, which is the very start of the book, but obviously that's, you know, leading into the return of it, which leads into the story of the book and the flashbacks and all that. I thought that was brilliantly done.
I thought it was great. The way he held him when he gets him out of water and he holds him and he just bites him like an apple on the chest. You see a big huge chunk of his body just gone.
Yeah.
I thought that was class.
Now, if I had one thing, it was a tad long. I know it's a long book.
I didn't mind the length. I didn't mind the length of it at all. In fact, it flew in for me. What I didn't like about it was the one. I'm cutting across you. Sorry, I'm stealing your thunder and I'm talking about the bits you didn't like in it, but I liked the vast majority. So it was great. Really enjoyed it, and I will buy it and put it next to
It Chapter 1.
It Chapter 1, and hopefully
next to the
hopefully
TV miniseries.
I'd love to think that maybe there's, like, you know, a special director's cut coming out where it could elongate that story between Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 into one kind of.
Apparently there is. Apparently it's going to be one big long.
But added scenes and stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. Right.
I have no problem sitting down and watching it, whatever.
I'd love
6-7
that.
hours or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
I'd love that.
No, I wouldn't sit down and watch it in one go.
Yeah.
No more than sit down and watch all of the Lord of the Rings in one go. You know.
Yeah. True. No, I'd love that now, I have to say. But no, it was just how the creature was represented at the end. I thought was a bit silly looking.
Oh, the clown with the spider legs.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure what they could have done differently with that, because the last spider leg thing looked shit in the original.
What, the original? Forget about the original. Read from the book.
No, I know that shit.
The only way they could describe it was a horrific spider-like creature.
Yeah.
With fangs and blah, 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 and everything else, and it was hideous looking and blah, blah. It was almost near impossible to explain. That was the whole idea of the end of the book.
Yeah.
But instead of getting something that they could have made hideous looking and shown us like the real form, and I think we actually get a glimpse of the true form when they have the flashback to when it arrives.
Oh yeah.
And you see it like running down, chasing down creatures and attacking creatures and stuff. I would have loved that to have been more gritty. Just the big clown as a spider running around the place. I looked a bit silly now, I have to say. Excuse me, sorry. I wanted to go a little bit more horrific and have Jesus, this is actually what it is. Like, you know, this is as close to its true form as we can comprehend.
Yeah. That's
what it should have been, but instead we got just a big giant clown with big spider legs.
Lacked the turtle with the world on its back.
We didn't need that.
No, we didn't.
We didn't need a fucking Stephen King cocaine and juice bleed nightmare. Like, no, we didn't need that.
Big.
Or maybe we do need a Stephen King cocaine and juice nightmare.
No child orgy. I was very happy about that they didn't touch that with a 10-foot bar.
Again, when it comes to that child, everybody gives out about it, but I see that it kind of makes sense to me when you read that, when in the context of the book. It makes sense.
It does, but it doesn't have that context in the film. At any stage does it lead you towards that, because the film.
No, but it could have. They purposely didn't.
Because they purposely didn't. No, but the film's much more in depth and layered than the book rather is much more in depth and layered than the film. Like the shit at the smoke hole, and they have to bite its tongue and travel into a multiverse to destroy whatever the fuck it is. That's fine. Simplify it for the screen. Let the book be more complicated. It's like the Lord of the Rings cutting out Tom Bombadil.
I get that 100. Yeah, I agree. The Tom Bombadil section actually in Lord of the Rings is crap.
I gave up reading those books after that section.
Yeah, it was silly. It was so stupid.
The Hobbit.
But what I would say to you is, I just want to make my feelings about even the I'd say child orgy scene, because that's what's been referred to now consistently across the board. It's not really that, but I'm going to make my feelings noted on it now. When I read the book, that didn't freak me out the way it seemed to freak everybody else out.
It didn't actually freak me out.
But in the context, like, the idea was that they had learned at that stage that the fear they were feeling is what was feeding the creature.
Yeah.
And the creature was getting more and more powerful and more strong the more scared they got.
Yeah.
So, but having said that, it was that fine line where, okay, we know what we need to do to defeat it, but are we strong enough to do it? And if you remember at the time, they were trapped in the sewers.
Yeah,
they didn't know where to go.
Yeah.
And the creature was coming for them. They could hear it was making all noises as it was coming towards them and all sorts of shit. Now, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I know for a fact the creature was definitely coming for them. It was hunting them at that stage. Or it was purposely frightening them to build up their fear. I remember reading it that way. And they were all fucking freaking out and panicking. Like, and they're all, 12, 13, weren't they?
Yeah.
So they're all freaking out, panicking. They were like, oh, fuck, we're dead. And she became, at that moment, the most powerful member of the group by realising that the only way I can break them out of this is by literally going to the one thing that they desire most in the whole world right now at this stage, and that's sex.
Yeah.
Their first ever sexual encounter.
Yeah.
And she gave them at that moment, and it calmed them all down, and all of a sudden then the fucking creature lost all its power and they escaped.
Yeah.
But so it made sense. She just did what she needed to do to save the group.
And
like,
that Stephen King weirdness works on page. Not entirely sure it would work as well.
I disagree. What it depends on how you film. You can film things suggestive. Like, they could have filmed that where, yes, they were being chased, yes, they got trapped, yes, the creature was coming at them, and yes, it was obvious that it was getting more powerful. The more it frightened them, the more fear it was getting from them, and so on. And they could have done it in a suggestive way where she just goes maybe and starts kissing them or something, and then it would fade out, like, or something like that. But it didn't need it. There's loads of bits it didn't need. Like, I would have loved to see the bit where Jaws jumped up out of a fucking canal to try and get one of the kids who just seen Jaws, that earlier on that day or something. I would have loved to see that. It wasn't there, but that's okay.
And the leper came back. Big fan of the leper.
Yeah, the leper was there.
I was so annoyed. I was so annoyed at the original miniseries leaving that out. I'm not even going to compare the mini. Like, we've 3 different adaptations of the same work, and none of the 3 of them you can really compare.
Yeah,
I mean, the book gives us a rough plot line. And obviously different stuff happens. Like, I didn't mind the whole Mike Hanlon turning up at the end confronting it, rather than in the book where he's stabbed by Henry Bowers and stays in the hospital or wherever he is.
That's right.
I don't mind that. I don't mind him showing up. I don't mind them changing Eddie's job or whatever.
Overall, it was great. It was just the benchmark was the first one, and it just didn't hit the heights of the first one. The other thing that really took me out of the film
was it James McAvoy's stupid American accent.
No. I was okay with that. Didn't bother me at all. Was the shoehorned in reference to The Thing by Bill Hader.
Oh, where
it just didn't
Stanley's
fit.
head.
You got to be fucking kidding me.
I actually,
why did you do that, lads? I'm totally withdrawn from the film now.
When I saw it, I was like, yeah, that's definitely a reference to it, or The Thing rather.
Of course it is.
Yeah,
it's exactly the same way.
This is completely off topic. There was kind of a running joke in my house for a while. I had the DVD of It and The Thing. Whenever I'd leave something in the house for the wife, I'd leave it on top of The Thing DVD. So she'd say, where's the keys? They're on top of The Thing. What thing? I left the book of It on top of The Thing, or the DVD of It or something. I said, it's on top of The Thing. It's on what? What's it? What's on top of The Thing?
Deadly.
Oh, that's little things in life, isn't it?
It's little things in life.
But I enjoyed it. Thought the cast was deadly.
Casting was great. Their casting was spot on for the kids and the adults.
What's your one's name?
I thought it was your one out, Mad Men, who I find unbelievably sexually attractive. Oh my god, she's incredible. I'll tell you her name now. It's not her, but
she was in about 20 films in 1 year, and I've never seen any of them.
Well, your one of Mad Men was also in Drive.
Oh yeah, I know.
You know her now, don't you?
Yeah.
She's like she's a voluptuous woman.
She's a voluptuous woman indeed. Yeah. Completely against the Hollywood stereotype of.
And she just does it with style. She's class.
A bit like yourself. Well, apart from the style and class and the doing it thing.
The voluptuous part. I don't know.
Right.
What was her name? Hold on. Whoa. Christina Hendricks. I thought it was Christina Hendricks.
Yeah.
But it's not. The female casting was, and she was fantastic, and I thought
she was brilliant.
Jessica Chastain.
Oh yeah.
But they're not a million miles off each other, like, you know.
Looks wise.
Yeah.
It's the red hair and.
Probably, yeah. But no, but they had the same. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
The Jesus, Joe, you're a bit fucking shallow now if you can't tell. Is it shallow or racist that you can't tell the two of them apart?
I'm neither shallow nor racist, and I very much appreciate a voluptuous woman, and I'm not fucking going to apologise to any cunt in the world for that.
Look, we're all friends here. Okay, I watched something. I'm going to fly through the stuff that I watched. That
no, go one at a time, you Matthew. You start flying through, I won't be able to talk about it.
I watched Steve Jobs with Michael Fassbender.
Yeah, I've just no interest. I've no interest. Like generally speaking, a bit of a visionary, okay, but an overall cunt.
No. I'm gonna pull you back on that one for a second.
Okay.
I don't think he's a visionary. I think people think he's a visionary, but in actual fact, he's just a marketing genius. He didn't come up with any of that.
You have to be a bit of a visionary to be a marketing genius. It's
it's not that. Yeah, he could
like his whole look, his
right.
fucking his
Polonex
or whatever he called them, and then his how he presented himself on stage and the way he moved and the way he talked. He basically set the standard for how people fucking do fucking presentations today.
Yeah, like, fair enough. Yeah, no, fair point.
And people try to be him.
Yeah.
When they're out on fucking stage, like it's a lot of bollocks because all that corporate bollocksology. No time for that.
Fassbender was brilliant in it.
He's pretty much good in everything he does. Isn't he?
So that's the only thing I can say that I enjoyed about that film is Fassbender's performance. It was basically just him before different presentations talking to Seth Rogen from time to time, who played Wozniak, who's actually pretty good in it as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never really seen what your man Wozniak talk
not me.
You know,
I'm not. I don't
we've
have
all seen
huge
Steve
interest
Jobs present, as you say, and Fassbender nailed it. Brilliant. Overall, meh.
Yeah, move on.
Cut me arse. Right, that's that gone. You want something else next?
I'll go on. I went to the cinema. And I saw one of the fucking best films ever. Although not quite as good as the fourth one, but it's fucking up there. Like, a worthy sequel. I loved it to bits. Rambo.
Yeah,
I
haven't seen it yet. No, I haven't had a chance.
All right, I'm not gonna spoil that for you.
Just give me
I'm just gonna tell you one small thing that happens in it. Okay. And hopefully people out there listening,
Rambo dies.
Wondering about it. This might give you an idea as to what it's like. So we know the Rambo character. Okay. Yeah. We've been with Rambo across 4 films, and there's all sorts of bullshit going on in the background about this being some kind of racist film.
Okay, no,
for some reason, absolute total utter bollocksology. I think it's about Mexicans because the Mexican cartels are prostitution, drug cartels are the main baddies.
Yeah, is this like the racism thing where, you know, the Russians, like you're saying there, the cartels are very much in the news at the moment. Back in the 80s, it was the Russians. Obviously, it's the Russians again now. And then, like in Rambo 3, he goes to fight the Soviets with the Afghanis. Yeah, it's you know, is it that kind
pure bollocksology. It's a zeitgeist thing. Whether you like it or not, there are Mexican cartels that are absolute scum. They are. I don't even think they're fucking human. But that's across the board. Every country has their own fucking variant of a Mexican cartel. But in this case, it's set in Mexico, and it happens to be Rambo is an American. He was once an American Marine, and he's gone down to try and rescue what has become effectively his daughter from a Mexican cartel. That's the basic story. I get that from even the fucking trailer or whatever.
Okay.
But people are saying it's racist because he's an American going into Mexico and killing a lot of Mexican baddies. But yet they're failing to point out the fact that his daughter that he's going to rescue is Mexican.
Is it like,
you know, it's one of these shit. Like, I just hope that side of the left just continues to consume itself until it's all gone. It's just cannibalising itself with its own bullshit. Like, you know?
Something political happened this week that I don't want. Do I touch on it?
Let me talk about Rambo.
Yeah,
I want Rambo needs to be taken in the fun, cool, fucking enjoyable kind of form that it is, because that's what it is. It's a no-brain action. He goes down anyway. She's been kidnapped by this scumbag in this bleeding nightclub. She's been kind of fished. I don't even think
is this Taken with Sylvester Stallone?
No, hear me.
Go.
Hear me out this now. Probably not a million miles off now, friends.
I'm in now, by the way.
Probably not a million miles off, but let me tell you what he does to the first fella. And I'm not going to say anything else after that, right? Nothing else. So I'm going to spoil one little tiny scene. So he goes into the nightclub and he gets through the storyline. There's a board that points out the one who kidnapped the girl by roofing her, and then she's lashed into the fucking prostitution ring straight away, like, you know. So she points him out, and there he is. So he just sits there stands there in the nightclub for the rest of the night, and then kind of pretty much follows your man out. He's a door board, like he has boards with him, and he's like all respected and everybody. But even when he came up, he's just horrible. Like when he was going up to Rambo's kind of adopted daughter, for want of a better description, he was like kind of licking his lips, looking at her and looking her up and down. A horrible scumbag.
Yeah.
Anyway, Rambo follows him out, and then the kind of crowd disperses, and he walks back over to his big fancy kind of Mercedes Jeep with this board, like, you know, and then he's starting to fucking have a go at the board, and next of all Rambo shows up and bang, fucking punches him right. Your man's like, what the fuck? And he tells you one to run, your one runs, and he fucking grabs your man, he's up close to his face, he takes out a picture of the door and says, where is she? He says, I don't know that whore bitch, and he pulls out, you know, the Rambo knife?
Oh yeah.
But he has it like the hilt facing downwards and the blade pointed towards his shoulder, say, smashes it down onto his collar, the hilt down onto his collarbone, like you hear it going and breaking, and your man's like, Rambo digs his thumb into the broken bit, pulls the broken collarbone out, and then starts to fucking break it even more, and your man's going, he says, tell me where she is and I'll stop, and he goes, okay. And then, you know, so that's what you're in for. And if you like that kind of stuff, that kind of like fucking vicious kind of getting one back on the baddies, this film is for you. It's class.
Going back to what you're saying about the Mexican thing, I mean, you could insert anybody there, like Liam Neeson with the fucking Armenians or Albanians, or whatever it is. Yeah. Like his daughter goes to Paris, gets kidnapped by, I think, a Moroccan and handed to, or Tunisian, certainly North African, and handed to Albanians. I mean, make them Irish, make them Dutch, make them British. Who gives a fuck?
You know, these fucking Egypts are just like literally a heartbeat away from saying that the fucking the empire were black people and the rebels were white people, and that's what the rebels have been doing to the empire is what the fucking white people have been doing to the black people. All they're literally, you know.
Why do we get why do we have football teams playing each other? Why do we have competition?
They could literally, you know, you could make it up out of anything if you wanted.
Yeah.
They just keep forgetting the fact that this is an entertainment medium.
Exactly, yeah.
And you need to take us, and I feel really sorry for the likes of you know, comedians and stuff, stand-up comedians who get fucking slammed for their bullshit. But what was great to see was they tried to slam Dave Chappelle for his recent special.
I didn't see it now.
It's a great special, but they tried to slam him as being the usual racist and all this sort of nonsense, and it just totally fucking backfired. Like, apparently, now I don't know, I didn't look into this story to see how true it is, but apparently Rotten Tomatoes only allowed 4 reviewers to review Dave Chappelle's show, recent special with Netflix, excuse me, 4 of them, extreme lefties, and slammed it and called it fucking all the fucking racist tirades you can fucking think of through the whole thing. So it had like a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes or whatever. When it was discovered that they only allowed 4 in, there was uproar over it, and they had to open up, and all of a sudden then it went to like 95% fresh. Do you know what I mean? Because normal people started reviewing it on their normal little websites or whatever, and all of a sudden then it went through the fucking roof. So a complete fucking backfire, like, you know, people not realising that this is entertainment, you know what I mean? But I genuinely think that that's a big lumbering cannibal, and it's literally gnawing on its own feet at the minute, like, and it's going to eat itself.
We need to be annoyed about something.
It's like, do you remember Pizza the Hut and Spaceballs? When he eats himself in the back of the thing? That's just
Speaking of Spaceballs, actually, that kind of ties into something I watched this week.
Go on.
I promised the Unfit that we'd watch all the Star Wars episodes 1 through 8 before The Rise of Skywalker came out, right? So I watched episode 1 last night.
Not as bad as you remember.
It's worse.
How can you say that?
It is worse.
That's bullshit there.
No, it is.
That is
and I'm not getting
bullshit.
into a Star Wars debate with you, because we will have a Star Wars debate. It is way worse than I remember.
That's bullshit. That's even today the prequels have been re-reviewed and people have gone back on what they've said, and they've said actually they're not nearly as bad.
I'm going back on what I said. It's worse than I thought it was before.
No, well, that's bull. They have been reviewed up over the years.
That's grand. Yeah, let other people review them up. This is worse.
All right. Well, what's bad about it?
What's bad about it? It goes nowhere. It's boring. Liam Neeson's good.
Goes nowhere. It's boring.
It goes nowhere.
Ridiculous.
No, it is. It's
how can you say it's boring? Okay. Right, let's go through it then. Okay, so it does start off a little bit slow, but it introduces the Trade Federation, introduces the blockade in Naboo, and it introduces basically the start of the plan that's been weaved by Palpatine. And his assumption of power.
I'm going to cut across here for a second now. We talk about like something like Game of Thrones doing, say, these political machinations where it's done really well. This isn't. It's like
it is though. It's done in such a way that it gives us major, huge, big set pieces. Like, so we have that, which leads to like the introduction of the 2 Jedi, which is the introduction to Ewan McGregor's young Obi-Wan, which is amazing. Introduction to Qui-Gon, which is amazing. Okay, and then we have the little skirmish on board the Trade Federation main ship. Okay, that's cool. Then they get back down to the planet, and then you have the incursion from the Trade Federation, the battle droids and so on. Then we get to the escape, which is brilliant, and the introduction to R2-D2, which is brilliant, and they get out of going through the planet core, and all that was really cool. The big huge giant fish, that was all class.
No, there was one big fish attacks the thing, right?
There's always a bigger fish.
Yeah, there's always a bigger fish. What happens 2 minutes later? Exactly the same fucking thing.
So what?
Another fish.
But that's like saying how many scenes do we see in the Luke versus Rancor monster scene? Oh, there's the Rancor again. Oh, there's the Rancor again. So what?
But it's two different.
So what?
The
Are
exact
you
same
literally
thing
going to criticise it because it's like there's a couple of scenes where you see a big fish eat each other?
No,
Are you really
criticising just because of that.
So they go through that and then they get off the planet and then they hit to Tatooine.
Okay.
And then we have basically the build up to the lead up to the pod race. And the pod race is fucking stunning. I don't care what anybody says. Pod race is amazing.
I will tell you what I liked.
And then we lead up to the first battle that we've ever seen with a whole different Sith Lord against a Jedi that we've never seen before. That was absolutely exhilarating for me. We had the first little tiny skirmish with Darth Maul and Qui-Gon, where you see Qui-Gon actually kind of going, oh fuck, I'm getting beaten up here.
You've pointed out, I think, the 4 or 5 things I actually liked about this film in a less than 5 minute chat. This film's fucking 2 hours 10 minutes long.
But I'm not finished yet, and I'm literally not even halfway at through the film yet. Like I'm pointing at these bits, like. We have that little thing, and then we have the introduction of Anakin, and the introduction of Anakin is great. I don't care what anybody says. Anakin as Jake Lloyd, he's just this innocent young little boy, and he just plays it really, really, really well. He's so sweet and so innocent, and you can see how like that makes the fucking story of Darth Vader all the more tragic when you see him being this lovely, innocent, sweet boy to being fucking twisted and tangled and turned evil by the Emperor.
Before you go any further, right, I'm going to tell you what I did like about it, right. Now, we need to have a proper debate about all 8 of these films coming up to The Rise of Skywalker. So, I'm going to tell you what I did like about it, and then we're going to draw a line under episode 1, because otherwise we'll be repeating ourselves in about 2 months' time, okay? You can argue all you want. We can do an episode each on each of the fucking Star Wars, because there's 2 of them I really don't like. The rest are good, and there's one you really don't like. So, we can argue all them points, right? I like the introduction of the 2 Jedi, obviously. Ewan McGregor is Obi-Wan Kenobi. Sorry, Alec Guinness. Alec Guinness. He did a great job back in the day, but Ewan McGregor is Obi-Wan Kenobi. For me, and I don't know for anyone else, but definitely for me. Liam Neeson's always class. I'm re-reviewing one part of this film positively. That is Jake Lloyd as Anakin. I will hold my hand up and say, yes, he is good in this, and I enjoyed him. And there was one bit that really bothered me. And it's not you know the way Anakin kind of accidentally destroys the Trade Federation ship. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't mind that, I actually quite enjoy that. That works for me. It's the Jar Jar Binks flopping around on the fucking thing, on the fucking battlefield. You watch all the great battles in cinema history, there's not someone fucking accidentally fucking fluting around the battlefield. So, name one other battle scene in any film.
The battle at the end of Return of the Jedi.
What? How? When? Who?
I have an entire detachment of my best troops waiting for your friends on the moon's surface.
Yeah.
And then the Ewoks show up like with fucking bow and arrows and sticks.
That's not the same thing.
It is, because you see all the stormtroopers going, oh, like this. It's because it's not there to be a gritty battle. That's not what it's there for. It's not supposed to be a gritty battle. You're not seeing arms and legs being blown off. In fact, Rogue One twists that a little bit and brings in the grittiness a little bit. But that's what they're not there. They weren't ever supposed to be that. Like when I watch Return of the Jedi and you see the battle at the end and you see the Ewoks and they're shooting their like fucking, you know, wooden arrows with like a little stone head in them at like stormtrooper armor, and the stormtroopers are like flailing about like
don't get me wrong, I don't love the end of Return of the Jedi. I don't love that battle.
There's one you asked for.
I don't love that battle. What I'm saying is, Episode 1, right, them fighting Darth Maul is brilliant. The score in that film is fucking phenomenal from start to finish. And you know the way we talked about, say, No Country for Old Men that has no score? This never fucking stops. There's music scored the whole way through that film, and it's fucking brilliant. Every second of the music of that film is brilliant. There's about maybe 15 minutes in the film I really loved. The rest of it, shit.
You're just trying to reinforce your original view of it, and you're not allowing yourself to be. You're not allowing yourself. I
never noticed the score the last time.
With the magic of that film. It's a magical film.
I never noticed the score the last time. I never really gave it the time of day. Now I notice it. I shit all over Anakin's performance, or your man Jake Lloyd's performance as Anakin. This time I enjoyed it. The pod race is brilliant. Like I can't argue with that. That's fucking brilliant. Again, I just Jar Jar Binks.
The new characters, the colours, the style of the ships, the style of the Naboo Starfighters, the look of the Queen, the look of Naboo. Actually seeing Tatooine again is amazing.
Yes.
Seeing Coruscant for the first time was like fucking wow.
Some things look good.
All of it looks good.
Well, look, yeah, okay, granted. A lot of it
to
looks
this day.
good. A lot of it
forget
looks
how
good.
old that film is.
I know. I'm not going to shit in the special effects. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to shit in them because I watched Jurassic Park as well the other night, and again, it's the same thing. They still hold up. Not perfect, but they still hold up. But some things look great. A lot of things look great, but it's all superficial. Underneath it all there's no fucking storyline. As I said to you before,
it very clearly is a storyline.
But it's shit.
It's not shit. You might as well say the story to A New Hope is shit, or the story to Empire Strikes Back is shit, or the fucking, because there's the plots generally speaking are they're barely underpinning the fucking spectacle that we're looking at. Barely underpinning it.
No. Storyline. Darth Vader's arc should have been handled better. And I'm going to draw a line under Star Wars now because we are going to
you can't
argue.
You don't draw lines under Star Wars. I draw lines under fucking Star Wars. That's the way. Because
I'm going to watch episode 2 next week, and I have probably the same opinion. So I'm not going to talk about episode.
Probably
2
the same opinion. You've already bought into that already. So you literally have your arms folded watching it. You just said I'll probably have the same opinion.
Will, because the last time I watched episode 2, I hated more than episode 1. I will go in with an open mind.
You won't. You literally just said I'll probably have the same opinion.
Yeah, probably. Doesn't mean I will.
No, you should literally have started with...
Is Carlsberg the best lager in the world? No, it is not.
You should have said, I'll have an open mind going into episode 2, but you did. You said, I'll probably have the same opinion. Which shows that you're on that plane. You're on that plane of self-reinforcement for all of your bullshit.
I will go in with an open mind and watch Star Wars episode 2 next week.
Withdraw one scene from episode 2, and it's the scene where they're out in the grass.
Oh God!
Withdraw that scene. It's like 2 minutes long.
Okay.
And if you even attempt to mention that scene in the next season, because we both agree it's not a good scene,
I will not mention it. Okay. I will not mention that scene. That scene is burned into my memory as a complete bucket of shit. And you agree that's a shit scene, right?
It's not a good scene.
So we will withdraw that. I will watch it with an open mind, and I'll give my honest opinion. Okay. Okay, moving on. What did you watch?
Another one. Okay, I'll bring the mood back up a bit. Yeah. I hope you saw this film. The chances are you have, but I bought it on Blu-ray from a crowd in England. Midnight Run.
Oh, I fucking love that film.
What a fucking film!
Oh my god!
And it's been years since I watched it. So I said to Lynn, we're going. The missus, I said we're going to slap this on, and I remember where the kids up in bed or whatever. The kids weren't around one way or the other. Kids weren't around,
locked up in their cages.
Yeah, up in the attic. And we slapped on Midnight Run, and the two of us just had a ball watching it. I forgot how good it was. I knew it was good, so good. But it's been years since I watched it. I'm watching it now after having watched so many films.
Yeah.
And become so attuned to how films are made and stuff.
Yeah.
I really appreciated how well made it was.
Yeah.
It's brilliant in all aspects, every side of it. The plot, the characters, the fucking scenarios, the gags, everything is brilliant in it.
The litmus test, fucking love
the litmus test, it's class. But even the end of it, I genuinely fucking started welling up at the end of it. I thought it was, and the bit that really got me actually, I forgot how well done it was when he's literally they're at the bottom, they're on the bottom, and he goes to the ex-wife's house. Remember, trying to get a few bob off her. And he sees his daughter for the first time in ages. Robert De Niro's acting in that scene is unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's truly unbelievable. And then when he gets out to the car and she runs out to give him the $110 of babysitting money, and he says, "No, baby, I can't take that. I just can't." And it was, I was like, "Oh God, this is so sad." But it was class.
It's such a simple story. And even it's simple. What's his name? The FBI agent, Yaphet Kotto.
Yaphet Kotto. There we go.
Brilliant.
Yeah, class. But even the end, the way he kept stealing the cigarettes, and then young Merlin, we kept fucking pointing out, "Be careful!" He's gonna cost you money in cigarettes, you and me both. But what was I going to say? That the ending, how Robert De Niro came up with the deal. It's actually complex. When you think of it, the way he comes up with the deal with Yaphet Kotto to set up the scumbag who ran basically Robert De Niro out of Chicago or whatever it was.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember to go down and take the discs? Do you remember the discs with all of the backup of his accounts that your man, the accountant, said he had? What's his name? The Duke. The Duke. What was his name?
Charles Grodin.
Charles Grodin. And he had to hand it over. So once he handed it over, they had them all ready to rock, and they all fucking they jumped them, they pinched them for the end. And then Robert De Niro gets the one up on him as well, but he was brilliant in it too. And I kept saying to myself, wouldn't it be the head baddie? I can't remember his name, but he's the same kind of mafia head baddie as he played in Snatch. Do you remember Snatch? He comes across to get the diamonds, and every time he gets onto the plane, you see him taking a shot. Dennis Farina. Jacks are doing something, and then the plane lands. Like, and he fucked off home then when everything went to shite. Do you remember?
Dennis Farina.
But the way he kept saying to people, like, you know, like he was in his office and he keeps saying things like, "Hey, sit down, have a Coke, do fucking something, man." He says, "Hey, sit down, have a sandwich, drink some milk, do fucking something." And he walks off like the way
he's fucking brilliant. He died very recently, actually.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah. But Midnight Run, man, what like just a brilliant. By the way, the Blu-ray was from a company called Second Sight.
Okay.
Same company who done Southern Comfort. Did I talk about Southern Comfort in the last podcast?
That's Walter Hill, isn't it?
Yeah.
You talked about it, yeah. You did, yeah. It's something similar to Deliverance.
I was going to watch it, but I hadn't watched it yet. Is that right? Yeah, okay. So I bought both of them from Second Sight. Really happy with the Midnight Run upgrade, remaster. It looks fantastic, sounds fantastic. The Southern Comfort one looks fantastic, sounds terrible.
Really?
And I don't know if that's because the master tape has a bad sound a track on it, or if it wasn't remastered properly. Still, it's still watchable. I actually watched that again as well, and that fucking blew me away again. I couldn't believe how good that film was. Like, you know, I watched most of that with the missus too, and she loved it as well. But just really fucking taut and tense through the whole thing, and these lads cluster fucking their way from the start of the film towards the end, like, you know, trying to basically get out. Just a superb film, like, you know. It's great seeing these little nuggets, these little fucking gold nuggets, like, you know, they're not necessarily lost at time because people like us who still watch this stuff, but you can get kind of overwhelmed with the amount of films that are out there, and then when you find one. But if anybody's listening, I highly recommend you seeking out Walter Hill's Southern Comfort. Superb soundtrack by Roy Cooder.
Oh yeah.
Believe it or not, yeah, great soundtrack. Amazing setting, so well shot, brilliantly acted. I mean, you think, like I said to you, the actors before: Fred Ward, Carradine,
one of them,
Dave or Keith. I think it was Keith.
Or Robert or
Fred Ward. Who else? The main character, Powers Booth. You know, great characters, like great actors. What's his face? Fucking from The Predator. Not The Predator, Predator. Sonny Landham was in it as well.
Brilliant.
But yeah, some great scenes, some great what's the word I'm looking for? Some superb acting. There's a baddie. There's a baddie from 80s films who's been a typical baddie, but you'll know him from. Do you remember the start of Blade Runner? He's the first replicant who does the test.
Oh, Brian James is his name.
Him.
Yeah.
Great face. He's a fucking deadly face.
He's in Another 48 Hours.
That's right, yeah. Him. He plays one of the kind of swamp men.
Right.
And he's, you know, with the French accent, the Louisiana swamp man with the French accent, but he's actually brilliant. They capture him in it, and what happens to him and stuff is brilliant as well. I have to say, it's class.
So it's a bit like that High Line you watch, that French film, yeah, something similar.
No, nothing like that at all. And see, that's a funny thing. Like, you watch something like Southern Comfort that has the kind of creative kind of stability and quality of, say, Walter Hill and his team and those actors, and how well they did it and how much effort they put into it. And then something like a modern film with all the fucking advancements in technology that makes things apparently easier, but they're churning this shit out left, right and centre. Sometimes I often think, like, revert it back, keep using fucking actual film. Oh, we have another film to talk about when it comes to film as well. I'm going to link this in now if you don't mind.
Yeah, well, I've got one of these kind of hidden gems or, you know, nearly forgotten films.
So talk about film where you revert everything back, only use 35mm film, don't use fucking digital film anymore, and if you took away digital film and the ease of making films, you could actually cut out fucking a huge portion of junk and shite that takes up too much. The
Backwoods, that was
that was a lot of bollocks. That film.
That Gary fucking Oldman in it.
I know. Less and Paddy Considine. It should have on paper. It should have been brilliant. But let's move forward with film. I watched a film that I thought was brilliant, and I think you might have seen this because I think you may have mentioned it before. Avengement. Yeah, with your man. Oh my God, how can I have forgotten his name? But I was watching Avengement. It's on Netflix. I'll tell you your man's name now. As soon as I say him, you'll be like, oh, him, oh yeah. Because he's had a few films and they've been a kind of along the same lines. He's a
Scott Adkins.
Scott Adkins.
I saw the the trailer for it on Netflix. I haven't watched it yet.
It's deadly.
Is it?
Oh yeah, it's class.
Can he still not act, but can definitely fight?
I actually thought he was alright, you know that? But his fight scenes, his choreography and his fight scenes...
He's really good.
Yeah, and the fight scenes in this were fucking vicious.
He was saying about that triple threat thing. I mean, storyline shit, acting shit. A couple of fight scenes are really, really good.
Yeah, storyline in this isn't great. It's okay. It does the trick, like, you know, but it sets up all these fight scenes, and they're superb. And he... I'm now after watching a Scott Adkins fan, I think he's fucking great. But what I was saying, it was all filmed in digital camera, like it was like really, really fucking clean, really bright. And I was saying to myself, if this was on a 35mm gritty reel, this would be so much better. If this came from the 70s, this would be one of the most lauded films of all fucking time, like, you know.
I don't mind it being shot like digitally.
Nah, it's something that takes away from it for me, I have to say.
Well, no, certain things, yeah, like you say, like fight scenes and stuff.
It's too clean.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, but certain things need to look clean. Like if you watch something like they say Spotlight, right? I watched Spotlight recently. That's a film. It doesn't need to be gritty looking. It needs to be clean looking because it's a journalistic thriller. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it depends what sort of film you're making, I suppose. Like,
I know it does.
The Exorcist wouldn't work
if it was really, really fucking high def. Like,
look,
we need to see film filters and film grain. Like we need to have that level of. I don't know how to explain it. Like I know saying it's too clean is kind of a cop out, but it's more like we're looking at a film. It could go deeper. Like we're looking at a film to escape from it, and from us looking at films in the cinema going back so long that we're used to seeing. The escapism comes from looking at old 35mm films.
Yeah,
and we see the grain, we see the detail there in the grain, in the colour, in the vibrancy of the colours and everything else. And that's what we are used to seeing. So that's how we connect our escapism with films to how films actually look.
But is that only our generation?
No, that's what I'm about to say to you. It could be a case of now, maybe when my young lad gets older, like all he's seeing, well, he won't because I'll be showing him films, but say somebody who may not have a dad who loves films and might not be showing him films, they'll just see, like, you know, the typical stuff in the cinema where it's all clean, it's all digitally filmed, all this sort of crack, and that's what they're used to. That's fine. That could very well be a generational thing. But I
think it is.
But it can come down to the technological side as well, where if you're filming digitally, the highest you can film is 2K, I believe. I'm open to be corrected on this. But you can have 2K intermediates, then it can be upscaled and all that sort of stuff. But with actual film, say the likes of, do you ever hear about Kara and Samsara?
No.
They're like these documentaries that were filmed over fucking years. But they use 70mm films to film cameras and 35mm film cameras to basically film. This is like documentaries about the earth and the changing earth, and tribes and people and animals and stuff. They're amazing. They're truly amazing. Get them on Blu-ray, they blow your tits off. But they have been future-proofed for pretty much all advancements in high definition, because you will always get more colour and more detail from actual film than you will from 2K cameras, or from digital films. So like that's why people who are into 4K, like I am, are more excited about having older films remastered at 4K than having like these 2K intermediate. Like when you watch Bumblebee, say, on 4K, like it looks great.
Yeah.
But when you watch when I watched 2001: Space Odyssey, I was like, fucking wow! Like, you know, that's the wow factor. But then, like, you have people like what's his face, Batman Begins, Christopher Nolan, Dunkirk on 4K is just blow you away. But he does everything in film though. Do you know what I mean? So there's still some directors out there who do everything in film.
But that's what I was going to say, was a good director and a good DOP. Like, look, say take the Coen Brothers for example, right?
Yeah, their cinematography is spectacular. Yeah,
like what's your man's name? Roger Deakins.
Yeah.
When they did No Country for Old Men, like that is one of the most visually stunning films I've ever seen. And I know he did Blade Runner 2049 as well. As far as I remember, I think Kev said it the last time. I'm open again to be corrected on that. If you look at that film, it was kind of in the height of when everything was being done digitally. Right? So this kind of everything's being done digitally, but we're going to do this way. So it doesn't, like, all these filming methods are still available. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it's just more difficult to use film.
It is more difficult, but what I'm saying is
it's easier to do digital. That's the thing.
But a good director will say, or a good artistic vision, like if you want to knock out a cheapo horror film, you do it digitally. Like, I mean, we could technically, the cameras we have on our phones are probably better than what they had, say, in the 70s.
It's the truth, but I'll tell you one thing though, it will never look as good as Evil Dead.
No, I know. This is exactly...
That grittiness is in the actual grain of the film.
This is my point, right? So say, for example, Sam Raimi goes out to make The Evil Dead today, right? He's never made it before. He wants it to look like one of those films of that era. What does he do? He doesn't record it on a phone. He doesn't record it on digital. He records it on film. Yeah. Because all those things are still available. All these methods are still available to people. So if people want to use them, they're still there, and the good directors will use them.
I get that, but back then, all they had access to was cheaper film cameras. Yes, it's what you have access to. So he could, if he wanted to choose film, but he'd look at that and objectively say, okay, well, it's going to be more difficult to do this. We're going to be out in the woods for X amount of time in a fucking cabin. I'll probably just use this camera here because it has like fucking a 10-hour battery life, and I can literally store like fucking a terabyte of data.
I think you're missing my point. I think you're missing my point here.
It'd be easier to do that.
No, it'd be easier, but I think you're missing my point here is that the good directors, like Christopher Nolan, like you were saying, will not just take the easy route. If they can,
now they can. They're established. They have power. They can do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
But younger directors back in the day had no power. All they could use was an 8mm, 16mm camera.
Ironically, the young directors now have more access to digital stuff. But they'll probably start going the opposite way. They'll start their first feature will probably be a digital thing where they record
and then revert back to film because
exactly they have the option. They grew up watching these films, and it'll happen again in the future. Again, it's like a generational thing, as you were saying. You move on then, and the next generation of filmmakers will look at what Nolan's done, but not have access to it. Make their films in something even better than what we have now, and then go right. Start reverting back. Right, we'll do it in digital. As you were saying, people are used to seeing it in digital now, and they will be. Like the younger generation growing up will still see what we see, but will also be more used to going to the cinema and seeing something much cleaner. But then go, well, Jesus, they recorded Jaws on this, so let's record on this because it will still be there. But you're saying if they're not able to access it immediately, they'll just move back. Do you know? That's the way I feel it'll happen anyway.
Anyway, I suppose options are a good thing. There's more options today.
Right, my film that's kind of almost a hidden gem. I bought this a while ago. Was Cruising.
Oh, you watched it, did you?
It is fucking full on, man. It's really good. It's not his best film. It's just fucking full on. Like it dives into that fucking whole scene.
Oh yeah, big time.
And I don't have a problem with that. And I was actually reading a couple of.
Do you find it hard to relate to though because you're not gay?
I know nothing about particularly the S&M BDSM gay scene in New York in the 80s, like that's or the 70s. That's so fucking far removed from where I am now. And obviously this was before the AIDS epidemic, so obviously I think that all calmed down beforehand. It was a bit more free and easy. I can kind of understand what was going on, and I remember I was reading a piece afterwards, and someone said, "Oh yeah, it was just." He didn't really go into it. It was just used as a framing device, and yes, it was just used as a framing device because it's more or less based on a true story. And this is what happened in that scene. It's nothing to do with the scene itself. It just so happens that this happened in this scene.
Yeah, it's what I mean? It's a superb film, and what a snapshot of that particular lifestyle from that particular time. Like and
a big shout out to Arrow. It looks immense.
Does it look good? Yeah,
you can see every fucking drop of sweat in that film.
There's a lot of sweat.
Yeah, Al Pacino's fucking
he's amazing,
brilliant. Yeah. And this is before the shouty, hoo-ah! Al Pacino.
What I can remember as well, doesn't it tread a fine line between him still loving his wife but being pulled in by this life?
Oh, he loves it. Well. Like you can see him, and it happens so quickly, and it's not like, how do I describe it? You know the way you can kind of see a character developing quite slowly on screen. It doesn't really happen like that. This isn't a bad thing, by the way. This is just he goes from kind of naive cop. Your man's brilliant in Paul Sorvino as well. That's his boss, brilliant. He gets asked to do it, and he's straight away, yeah, I'm in. I want this. This is my pathway to the top. And next thing he's in, he befriends his neighbour. He finds out, like from my reading of it, he finds out that obviously there's a lot of homophobia or whatever at the time. He finds out that they're not all bad guys. You know what I mean? He's looking for one bad guy amongst all these good guys. But he falls into it like that. Like Al Pacino probably does in real life when he's acting, or certainly did. Falls into a role like that. Your man, the character he plays, does exactly the same thing. And I think it's fucking brilliant.
I might take an invite here.
Do yeah, it's so long since I saw it. Man. It's gritty. It's not Friedkin's best film.
No, but it does have
shot.
Friedkin's grittiness to it, though.
Oh,
like
it does. It's a William Friedkin film. Like.
If there's ever one thing that man does right, it's he captures things like in a real way.
I say it's a very good snapshot of a very specific time in a very specific scene, and something that was happening in that scene. Now, my reading of it is, and this, like I was saying to you, they were saying, they used it's a slur on this scene or whatever. I don't think it is. It's a framing device for a story.
That's nonsense, because that kind of scene was across the board in every kind of sexuality. It just so happens that this storyline happens to be within the gay scene.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. It could have been in a ballet school. Yeah, if Al Pacino looked like a ballet dancer.
It could have been fucking heterosexual orgies. It could have been fucking whatever the fuck.
It actually is irrelevant. It's because
it's completely irrelevant.
Al Pacino looks like the victim or the victims. He fits their description. Right, you're a young cop, get in there, get stuck in. He's like, yeah, I'm well up for this. Bit hesitant at first, falls into it straight away. And then I didn't like the ending shot.
Well, don't give it away, because it's still a bit hazy now.
Watch it, you'll enjoy it. Like, but there was one bit at the end that just bothered me, but it didn't bother me enough to destroy the film or make me not like it or go, oh, that's shit. But yeah, it's really good, really, really, really good.
I watched a film on Netflix. I think it's called In the Shadow of the Moon, or The Shadow of the Moon, something along them lines. Do you remember what you watched your first season of Narcos, didn't you?
I watched most of it, yeah.
Do you remember the American agent, the kind of blonde, kind of scruffy hair?
Yeah.
He's in it. He's brilliant in it. It's kind of a mix between, imagine True Detective, only kind of sci-fi. Okay, that's what Kev Shields actually described it as.
What's it called?
It's almost perfect. I think it's In the Shadow of the Moon. Actually, I'll look it up real quick here just to be 100% certain, because I don't want anybody listening in trying to find it and they can't find it. So I'll just
it's not like us to get anything wrong, you know.
Yeah. I'm just gonna. Yeah, it's In the Shadow of the Moon. It's 2019 film. Okay. It's good. It's decent. It's a solid little film. It's not going to blow you away or anything, but it's good. It has some. It plays at some of its plot points really well, and it advances across this period of time. Like, it goes like 9 years, and you see the characters changing in the 9 years and so on every 9 years. But it's really, really, really well done, and it's really kind of subtle as to what's going on. It keeps you on tread for the best part of the film. But I don't want to even mention a little bit. Just the style of it is very much detectives, police investigating murders, real kind of gritty, kind of True Detective style, and then there's a sci-fi element to it as well.
Right.
And I'm not going to say anything else. Definitely worth a watch.
Okay, let's stick that on the list. I watched Prospect. Did you see that?
I thought it was okay. Everybody's raving about it. It's like, it's okay. Pedro Pascal is class in pretty much everything he does. But I just thought it was alright. I like the kind of grittiness of the ships, the lander ships, when they land down on the planet to try and go looking for these diamonds or whatever.
Like, we were talking about making films there a few minutes ago. That was made for about 15 quid, like, and it looks like it. But it looks like there was effort put into it. Like.
Oh yeah, I 100% wouldn't take that away from it. As a low budget film. They did a good job. Yeah, it's a good film. It's that's it. Like, it's a fine film. If you wanted to criticize it, like, it charmed me enough to make me not want to criticize it. I enjoyed it enough to not want to criticize it, but I wouldn't be running out to buy it in 4K either. Like that.
I was exactly the same. If I never saw it again, I wouldn't give a shit.
Yeah, but I think the actors did a good job.
I like the intricacy of trying to get the fucking
the diamonds
out. I like that kind of.
What was it, from an egg, a worm's egg, or some shit like that? They had to use a certain level of acid or pour this yolk on, or whatever the fuck it was. Yeah, it was very good. Yeah.
Your one kind of annoyed me though.
The young one.
Yeah, I don't know what it was about her character. Just kind of pissed me off.
The desperation in her father was something else, actually.
Yeah,
because he had this big plan, like, and
he's almost killed off too early.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
No, it's a decent film. It's definitely worth a watch. Definitely worth a watch. In fact, actually, the artwork for that film is beautiful. The poster for that film.
That's what caught my eye. Actually, I think it was Kev put it up on Facebook, and he said it was out. It was on film.
Did Kev like it, actually? Did he?
I don't know if he liked it or not, Kev. You'll have to put up an old comment on.
He gave out about us today, being too short notice from to come on the podcast today. So, and it's just too short notice, lads.
Well,
that's the way Kev talks. I just think you see this Joker. It's actually quite a good film.
My God, it's
right now he's listening to this going, "I'm fucking cunts. I'm fucking that Joe Donahue fella."
It's like we have Kev here. It's I close my eyes like out of here.
Oh, he'd be gone mad.
Yeah, the prospect wasn't great. I have a question for you, right?
Go on.
Well, first of all, last night with the kids, last night I said watch episode 1, watch Batman Begins, introduce them to that. Still holds up, still class. I will argue all day about the Nolan trilogy. Third one has its problems. The first two are fucking brilliant.
I'm not going to go because we've gone down this route before, and I don't want to have it in like.
I just watched it.
I feel the need to put the effort into talking about Star Wars because I love it so much. I just didn't love that trilogy all that much. Batman Begins was great, in fairness, kind of that gritty Batman story. The second one was okay. Like, Heath Ledger's great. Putting the pencil on the table and slapping a man's head down, I thought that was amazing. The bit then with toward the end of the second one was it kind of lost me a little bit, and the third one was just a bit thick. There's because the benchmark was the gritty realism that was being set up in the first two, and it's kind of all pissed away then in the third one. Kind of annoyed me a little bit.
But I don't find that as much, but look,
it's still a superhero film, so you can't be getting too.
Yeah. Jurassic Park, I watched with the kids, still holds up. Fuck me, so good, so good.
And the subject of our very first ever podcast, which nobody will ever fucking hear.
I swear to God. And the young fella says to me, "What's his name?" And I said, "Dodson." And I was, "Oh no, oh, not him." So anyway, I have a question for you, right?
Yeah.
You're a big Trekkie, correct?
Yes.
Right. I am not a big Trekkie. I watched Star Trek Beyond the other day just because I happened to be on it. I'd seen it before. I remember really enjoying it, and I actually enjoyed it more the second time.
I got enjoyed.
What's your feeling on that trilogy of films?
I love them.
Really?
You see, I don't know why Trekkies get so precious because this is a completely different timeline.
Yeah,
completely different. It does not do anything to the current timeline or the one that we all know. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't shit in it. It doesn't do anything. This is doing its own thing. And I thought it was great. I thought fucking Cumberbatch was fucking class.
As can.
Yeah.
Yeah. People shit in that second film. I actually don't see why.
No, it's Trekkie shitting on it. No. It's the same as like the fucking Star Trek fans shitting on Solo. It's the same fucking thing. I just don't get it.
I love the Wrath of Khan. It's fucking brilliant. I've seen it a couple of times now. I actually watched it not too long ago. But again, I wouldn't have that connection to Star Trek that some people do. So I don't understand the shitting on it.
Yeah. No. Well,
and I think the third one's better than what's the second one called? Darkness Into Darkness.
Hold on. I'm getting mixed up.
Star Trek Beyond's the third one.
Oh, apologies. Sorry. Yeah. No, Star Trek Beyond. Yeah. Okay. Let me revert a little bit back here because
what's your feelings on the trilogy?
I loved the trilogy. Okay. I loved it. Okay. There's some beautiful scenes. In fact, actually, there's one scene in the third one, I think, and Beyond, where it was kind of paying homage to Leonard Nimoy because he passed away, and you see young Spock looking at a picture left behind by old Spock of the original crew. Yeah. And I swear every time I see that I get all welded up. I was like, oh my God, there they are. It really gets to me. It really does. And I thought that was phenomenal. There's some lovely touches. There's a lot of heart in those films. Yeah. That's a lot of people don't get. There's a lot of heart. It's a big adventure. It's great crack. And to have Trekkies shitting on it for whatever thick fucking stupid reason they want to shitting on for, when the original trilogy has big fucking green hands coming out of space and holding the Enterprise and not letting it go, and all this sort of mad crazy shit, and even Next Gen has some fucking really fucking dodgy dodge stuff happening, particularly in the fourth season. I mean, when you're getting really into the Next Gen, and you don't, or say you're getting really into the idea of the next generation, and all of a sudden fucking Q pops up with maracas going like that, in the middle of a battle scene, to try and poke Picard off, you
call that the Jar Jar Binks effect.
So to have them nitpicking that trilogy, that kind of bombastic spectacle again of the adventure, discovery and fucking going out and all this sort of stuff, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense because Star Trek has always been about adventure. Always about adventure. You could even say Deep Space Nine and definitely the later seasons of the Next Gen brought in that kind of grittiness where we start to see the kind of behind the scenes stuff that's going on with the Romulans and with the fucking what's going on in Deep Space Nine and what's happening through the wormhole into the Beta Quadrant. I think it might be. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. Ian will correct me if I'm wrong on that one, in fairness.
My name's Ian, I love Star Trek. Oh Jesus, Ian's here. Fucking hell. Let's hear some do impressions of all our guests.
Of all our mates, yeah. But no, like generally speaking, like that brought a lot more of a kind of gritty realism to it, like later on in those seasons, and Voyager did as well. But it never gave up on the sense of fun.
Yeah.
Like even when you had a couple of heavy episodes, say in Deep Space Nine, Deep Space Nine does get very fucking heavy. You're talking about murder and shit. But even when you get like, there's always like 2 or 3 episodes like that are like really stupid. Like give you an example, and it's so well done. Like, you know, just to give you a quick one, like Deep Space Nine, like shit's gone down in Deep Space Nine. I don't want to tell you in case you sometime watch it, but there's this whole fucking kind of empire on the other side of the wormhole called the Gem Hadar and the Changelings and stuff.
Oh, you told me about this.
And there's this massive big fucking thing going on. But Cisco keeps getting like the death reports from the war. Like, you know, so he's looking at death reports of Federation serving members, like in the 15,000 this day, fucking 100,000 next week, and he sees all the names coming through because this war is basically. He's at the heart of it in Deep Space Nine, blah, blah, blah. So it's like really, really heavy and really fucking really gritty. And there's some episodes where there's like fucking full on battle scenes happening. But then there's an episode then where one of the Federation starships docks in Deep Space Nine, and it's crewed by Vulcans. But these Vulcans love baseball, and Cisco is a huge baseball fan, massive big baseball fan, and they keep slagging each other. But the Vulcan does it in a real arrogant way because they're fucking Vulcans, like. But Cisco's like, fuck. So Cisco challenges them then to a game of baseball in the fucking holodecks, like, you know. And the whole episode is the build up, and Cisco's trying to train all of the typical stars, the typical characters from Deep Space Nine into baseball. And you have that fucking Ferengi like holding the baseball bat in the ball, going, "What's the fuck is this?" Like, you know, literally starting from scratch, not even knowing what the sport is. And it's hilarious. It's really cool. And actually, just a shout out to one of the characters, Nog. He has this lovely character arc in Deep Space Nine where he starts off working for his uncle and his father. His uncle is oh my god, the famous Ferengi owns the bar in Deep Space Nine. Right now, Ian is shouting at the fucking speaker, trying to tell me the name.
My name's Ian. I know everything about Star Trek or wars or whatever. I'm flapping my arms around like this.
Ian is giving out to me now, and he's right to be giving out to me. But Nog like he's the son of the brother of the owner of the bar, and they're just basically like because they're Ferengi, they're horrible fuckers, like, you know, but kind of funny horrible fuckers. But the guy who plays him, Aaron Eisenberg, died there recently. Only last week or so, maybe 2 weeks ago. And apparently, by all accounts, was an absolute gent of a man, and always went out of his way at the fans at conventions and everything else. It's just really sad.
But I don't mean to laugh. Just think of it, the absolute opposite of a gent.
Quark.
The absolute opposite of a gent of a man who died yesterday or today is Ginger Baker. Fuck Ginger Baker, you fucking twat. Anyway, sorry, I'm gone off course here altogether. So the films. Go back to those. I love them. And Star Trek Beyond, like even there recently, I'm in a Trek WhatsApp group with a couple of the lads that you know, and we're always just talking about Trek. Like, very recently, was talking about the Picard. The new Picard trailer dropped yesterday, I think, and I swear to God, I was in tears at the end of it. It looks amazing. But we're constantly talking about, one of the lads put in a clip of that time the Enterprise defeated the baddies by playing Beastie Boys. And out of context, that looks stupid. Like, it looks really, but when you realise that actually they were listening to classical music at the start of that film, and that made sense. And when you say that, like, it does, it's stupid out of context.
But in the film, it was when it kicks off, it's like and then all the ships start fucking crashing. I was like, oh, this is brilliant.
Who's your one that's in that? She plays the white-skinned alien.
Oh yes,
she's in fucking Kingsman as well.
She was great, actually. She was really
brilliant
cool
in it, yeah.
And Kirk getting on the motorbike.
Yeah.
It was just so silly, but it was so much fun.
No, but to me, that's what Star Trek is.
It's fun. But did you find those films fun?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
They were a ton of fun.
I'm not a Star Trek fan. I'm not a Trek. I don't dislike it. You know, I'm not going to go out and say I hate it. I went to see the first one. It was kind of it was J.J. Abrams riding the wave at the time. You know. Yeah. So I went to see it. So this is a new take on Star Trek. I'll go in and I'll watch it and whatever. I don't know any of the characters. I know the characters by name, but I'm not attached to any of them. Don't know any of their backstories or any shit. So I went in and watched it, really enjoyed it. And then when I'd seen Wrath of Khan, obviously, and then Star Trek 2, what's it called, Into Darkness came out.
Yeah.
And someone said, Benedict Cumberbatch is going to be Khan or whatever. That's fine by me. Didn't shit on Wrath of Khan. Completely different film. Same character.
That's the girl that played the alien.
Sophia Boutella.
She's beautiful. But she was a great character. I thought that there's a picture of her as the I don't know what the alien race is called.
I can't remember. Can't remember the character.
But I love the idea of the crew of that original ship gradually being changed and morphed by the flora and fauna of that planet.
Was fucking brilliant.
I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah, because I didn't see that coming at all. To be honest with you.
Yeah, and then the fight then at the end, even though it was Idly Billy, what's his name, Idris Elba, the fight with Kirk and him at the end, and they're going through the kind of ventilation pipes and stuff, and they keep going, like the whole gravity keeps fucking up. I thought that was all class, like, you know.
I have no problems with any of those three films.
No, I thought.
And I actually like the way in the second one Spock comes in and says, old Spock says to younger Spock, "Look, this guy's super fucking dangerous. Don't trust a word that comes out of his mouth," because you're thinking, is this the same Khan? Now, obviously, it's the same character, like from Wrath of Khan or whatever, in a different time.
It's definitely the same Khan.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be the same Khan. There's no doubt about that.
But my point was, that you're looking at him, and the only Star Trek original series episode I remember sitting down and was watching was Space Seed, because I watched it on Netflix before I watched.
Bay, and they find the Botany Bay.
Yes, before I watched Wrath of Khan, I said I'm going to watch this, and then I'm going to watch Wrath of Khan. See how they link in together, right? Yeah. So I really enjoyed it. I watched the two of them one after the other. And you're kind of thinking, is this the same fucking Khan? And then Spock comes on and says, "Look, this guy's a complete scumbag. He's the most dangerous man you're ever going to fucking meet. He will stab you in the back." You know, and then I was like, it's the same fucking Khan we're watching, you know. And Benedict Cumberbatch, I don't think I've ever seen him in anything that I didn't enjoy him.
Nah, he was great. When you actually see him fighting the Klingons, remember when he shows up fighting the Klingons?
Oh, that's fucking deadly.
Oh man, he fucking kicks arse. I was like, fuck, this is deadly. No, I love them. I thought the three of them were class. Beyond is a lot more playful than the other two.
Yeah,
it's a lot less serious.
Simon Pegg wrote that.
Simon Pegg wrote Beyond.
He wrote Beyond. Yeah.
It's a lot more playful. I mean, getting onto the motorbike and driving around, you know,
it's ridiculous.
It's so much fun. But like
with the different hologram versions of it, it's fucking ridiculous.
Like, and the original series had so many silly bits that were just so much fun. Like the fight with the Gorn and everything. Like even back in the day, it looked silly. And I remember my uncle telling me, like, when he watched it when he was a kid, like, you know, they were going, you know, what's this? But
this is shit.
But like, even that, when you watch that today, that episode with the Gorn, the only part of that whole episode that is a bit cheesy is the fight scene.
Yeah.
But the actual storyline of the Gorn and what's going on, and they're chasing the Gorn ship through some other race's space, like a solar system. It's really, really, really well done. I'd even challenge to go and watch it and see what I mean.
Yeah, like I was saying, I don't like Star Trek. It's not that I don't like it. I've never watched it. Do you know that kind of way? That's why I'm saying I've no connection to it. It's like me saying I don't like. I'm going to say Orange is the New Black. I've never watched it, so I can't say whether.
Same.
I don't like it, as in I haven't seen it to not like it or like it.
Yeah, the lads have been telling me that Avatar: The Last Airbender is one of the most amazing things I've ever watched. I haven't watched it.
Nothing against it.
Look, shy.
My name's Ian, I like Avatar. Why does he always wave his arms around like that?
Ian will literally give you an uppercut next time he sees you.
Fucking.
And I tell you,
kick me in the bollocks. I probably deserve it too. Right, I have one more thing you told me to watch.
Go on.
Towards you, Marzipan Dildo.
You were watching Malcolm fucking
started watching it. Oh, fucking nearly well.
How good is that?
The opening scene of that's so good when he comes in. He's like, "I like you. The PM likes you, but get the fuck out." Your man is brilliant as well. What's his name? The new minister.
They're all brilliant.
What's your man's name? Abbott or something. Is it the new minister? Comes in after the kind of opening where he kicks your man out, makes him.
He's good. But that actor though just be if he was found with child porn or something.
Was he?
Well, you know what?
Well, let's separate art from.
Just from watching it, he is very funny. The way he delivers lines. Yeah. Have you watched it all of the things?
No, I watched the first maybe 5 or 6 episodes. So.
Okay.
Nice and short. I'm gonna bang out another couple tonight.
It just gets better. Like there's no fat on that whole show. Yeah. It's brilliant.
One of my favourite scenes is where he's giving the interview with your man's ex-girlfriend, and Malcolm just comes up and knocks on her and says, "Would you come out here for a moment?" And fucking gives him a bollock.
Well, I love the way he kicks into the reporter, like, and she's not playing ball. And he just goes, "Man, cut out your fucking lungs, dry them in the sun, and wear them as a waistcoat."
Oh, it's very good. I want to watch that film as well. Was it the Tick?
Yeah.
Not the Tick of It, In the Loop.
In the Loop. I haven't seen that yet.
It's on Amazon.
It's on Amazon Prime?
It's on Amazon Prime.
You're joking me.
Yeah, because I went looking for Tick of It on Amazon Prime because I knew that was on
found
Amazon
that?
Prime.
Oh, okay,
But it's actually on Netflix.
And here's another one for you. That's Iannucci is the writer for that.
Yeah,
He's a fucking genius as far as I'm concerned. He wrote The Death of Stalin. That film is a fucking ingenious as well.
Death of Stalin. I was watching it. I was starting to fall asleep, not from boredom.
Oh no,
just from
you
tiredness.
have to. It's just
was
so
really
fucking funny
enjoying it.
the way the
Really
lads
enjoying
go on and that, like, you know, it really is. But he also done Veep, which is the American version of The Thick of It.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
It's something similar though, is it?
very similar.
Is it
I've
on
only seen bits of it. I haven't.
Amazon, is it?
It was on. I'm open to be correct on this, but I think it was on Netflix for a while.
Okay.
And I'd only started watching 1 or 2 episodes of it, and then it was gone. I was kind of half had them on the background, and said, "Oh, watch another episode of that."
Yeah.
But it was very much the same playground, like, you know,
Yeah.
just different characters in America. But the Thick of It is honestly like
Oh,
Always Sunny in Philadelphia and then The Thick of It are my 2 favourite comedies of all time.
that's very good now.
But I want
What your one says, she says something fucking stupid, and your man says, "That's the best swear word you can come up with." Like it's bum bum or something.
Yes.
Brilliant.
But when it gets into the shadow cabinet stuff as well, and there's just one bit like where they set up like a blog for the shadow cabinet minister for the social department or whatever, and like there's like all comments underneath the blog. The comments is, "Minister, do you take it up the chutney?" And he reads it out like, "Do I take it up the chutney?"
Oh, it's very good. Oh, something else I watched on Netflix. I watched one episode of it. It was very good. Criminal, did you see that?
Of which?
Criminal, it's called.
Criminal, no.
It's like these interrogations. There's an English one, and it has your man David Tennant in the first episode.
Oh, this is where it's just the interrogation, is that the idea of it? And he was...
the first one, I watched the first English one. There's also French ones and Spanish ones and German ones. But the very first English one with David Tennant is very good, yeah.
Oh, cool.
I like shit like that, like the interrogation.
Yeah, I'd be interested in something like myself, actually. But you have to be in the right mood for it. You look for something serious and gritty. Like,
absolutely, Alex. There's no
most of the time
levity here.
Yeah,
like.
most of the time, like I'm just in the mood for like fucking stupid horror film or something like that.
Yeah, I'm the same. Like, to think of it something you can sit down and watch without really taxing your brain too much. Just let the comedy kind of flow. You don't really think about it. You know.
There's one other film I got. Are we wrapping? Are we getting close to wrap up time? Are we?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
What are we at?
106.
Okay. Well, we'll finish off with this one then. I watched. It's a film I've had on my kind of shame list for a long time as a horror film fan. I should have watched it ages ago. I got it on Blu-ray from the same crowd. From 101 Films.
Mm-hmm.
The same time I got the Cooler. I haven't watched the Cooler yet. Black Christmas.
No, I haven't seen it. I'm thinking
1974.
What's that other one? Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Yeah. Slasher films aren't a big thing for me because they're so similar.
Oh, come here, Silent Night, Deadly Night is fucking shite.
But Black Christmas was even before Halloween.
Oh yeah.
And it's directed by a director who was a fantastic director called Bob Clark, who directed. It's funny, like, this is Black Christmas, but he directed a film called A Christmas Story. Did you ever see A Christmas Story?
I know, I've heard.
Christmas Story is the greatest Christmas film ever. That and National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, 2 best fucking Christmas films of all time.
I have 2
ever.
words for you.
What?
Die Hard.
You're right. It's a Christmas film. But this is directed by Bob Clark, and 1974. Just looking up there on IMDb to make sure I'm writing it. My first time watch, and it's great. You know Margot Kidder
From Superman.
Yeah, she's in it, and it's a sorority house, but it's really well acted, and it's really, really, really great. It has that 70s don't give a fuck attitude to it, like, you know.
Yeah.
And they're getting calls from this like prank caller, but he's saying like the most vile shit to them on the phone, like, you know. And then there's girls being bumped off, but it's really.
I just picture him reading the child orgy scene from It to them over the phone.
no, actual vile, like, you know,
Yeah.
like you know, it makes even fucking the scenes with the your mother sucks cocks in hell and the extras like seem like fucking Coronation Street.
I have something to say about that, but go on.
But no, Black Christmas, really cool. If you get a chance to watch it, I don't know whether it's on Amazon Prime or not. I have it on Blu-ray if you want to take a land of it. But it's
I'll give it a watch. Yeah,
very good.
I always get that mix up with that Silent Night, Deadly Night. That shit. That's older.
No, but this is superior. Like, if William Friedkin directed this, you'd be like, oh yeah, you know, it kind of has that real grittiness.
Yeah, I like those kind of slasher films along the lines of Halloween or something like that. As you say, kind of older ones. Like, I don't like Friday the 13th. To be honest with you, even the original, I don't. Nah, it doesn't do anything for me.
As a kid, I liked it. Like, I just can't watch it. I find it. You know how much of a John Carpenter fan I am.
Yeah.
I find it hard watching Halloween.
Really?
Like, there's so much. Like, for me, this is very much a me thing. I know because there's people I know who just live for slasher films. And they love them.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But for me, there's just so much more rewatchability. Stupid word, but you know what I mean. In the likes of like a monster film or a sci-fi film or a war film or a drama film, just for me than slashers, because like every time I'm looking at like a slasher film, it's just a human with a knife, and you're going, okay, it's just a human with a knife, one way or another. But if it's an unstoppable force like the fucking organism in the thing, or a fucking bunch of escaped dinosaurs, it just has that extra kind of sense of dread to it for me.
I would put Halloween aside from other slasher films because it builds the tension for most of the film, and all the slashing happens kind of in the third act. Whereas most slasher films are arrive at the camp / fucking school / fucking petrol station / wherever. Here's the bad guy's backstory. He was abused as a child, or he lost his parents, or blah blah blah. That's all established in the first 15 minutes, and then the slashing begins for 90 minutes or 80 minutes, and you're just kind of like, you kind of get after a while, you know what I mean?
They can go a little bit. They can become fun. Do you ever see the Hatchet series?
No, I know of them, but never seen.
They're just done for fun. They have like really like one kill, one. The kills become more and more elaborate. Let's say, like it's ridiculous. It's kind of like Final Destination. Remember how stupidly mad and crazy the kills become?
Like
that's kind of the way.
You're going, whoa!
Yeah, there's shit like that, and like you know, like where you go, oh god, that just happened. Like you know, where it's kind of cool.
Like the Cabin in the Woods. I know the Cabin in the Woods was played for laughs or whatever, but. Like,
that's kind of a beast of its own, film, isn't it? Kind of.
But that was just the only one I could think of where you're going to go, oh yeah, that's interesting.
It's a great film, though.
But if you watch like Friday the 13th, Kevin Bacon gets the spear through the neck.
It's an arrow. Yeah, that's actually a good. It's actually a good scene, right? Where you see it kind of popping through, like it's cool. But
special effects are good, but then you're going to go, let's go around killing people. It's his mother.
It is. They all follow relatively similar plot lines, like you know that. And I know there's people out there who would argue me to death on that one, but when you watch something like Black Christmas, it doesn't necessarily follow the killer. It follows more the people around the killer.
Yeah.
That's even probably a bad way of putting it, because most slashers like, but it's done in a way like we spend more time with the investigations and the people looking to find where these people are. They don't realise where they're hidden, where their bodies are, and all that sort of stuff. And it's just the acting of the characters, and it's real great. It's real. Like it's a nasty little film, but in a good way. Like
yeah. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, The Exorcist. The Exorcist, my favourite Exorcist film, Part 3, is coming out on Blu-ray.
By Arrow.
We had a little discussion on Facebook. Oh Joe, let me know when it's out. Kev says it was released. It was announced 15 minutes ago. Yeah.
What Arrow do have this fantastic marketing thing where they put little art cards into Blu-ray releases, and they don't seem to do it in mass. They do it like, because I haven't gotten one yet.
Oh right. Yeah.
And you know how many Arrow films I have.
Yeah.
So like somebody in the States there a couple of months ago opened it up, and there was a picture of RoboCop. So it was like, oh geez, are Arrow doing RoboCop? Like you know, and it turns out that they were. Then same with American Werewolf in London. Are they actually going to do American Werewolf? And then it popped out then fucking.
Was there any fake outs?
I don't think they get away with doing a fake out.
No, that's one thing. Like then if you get one of those cards, you're guaranteed it's going to come out.
But it's fantastic that we're getting the Legion cut as well.
Yeah,
that's really special.
I was actually saying to Kev, part of me thinks they should nearly rename that film altogether and cut it out of the Exorcist franchise. To me, because it just
is a sequel though.
It is a sequel, but
Gareth's still alive.
I know that, but is it really a sequel?
Yeah, it's a sequel. It's the same demon fucking about with cars and trying to get back into cars.
It doesn't. I think it stands on its own.
Oh, it's a superb film. Full stop. It's a superb film across the board, and I can't wait to get it.
I think I prefer it to the first one.
A lot of people say that.
I think I do. I need to sit down and rewatch them again.
Yes, watch 1 and 3. Don't bother watching 2.
I have the collection there. I told you this before. I want to watch those 2 prequels, neither of which I've seen. I have both for fucking years now.
I really enjoy both of them. No, I was younger when I watched them, mind you.
Yeah, I want to sit down and watch 2 of them, compare them and see what the difference is.
But no, definitely.
The Exorcist is brilliant.
It's an interesting clump of films. The way that the course that they took, like you know.
Yeah.
But like the 2 was always watching for Richard Burton.
Yeah,
he's great now. Everything else is showing it though. And when he goes climbing up the mountain, remember he goes climbing up the mountain and you have that weird cinematography. Yeah,
I haven't seen the second one in fucking years. I remember I think it was Ash's cousin lent it to me, and I fucking hated it.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you for hating it.
I didn't even know the Exorcist 3 existed at that stage. And so, you know there's an Exorcist 3, I was guaranteed it's fucking shite.
And then you watch it and your lips blown out.
Fuck me. I was like, jeez, what's his name? George C. Scott.
Yeah, George C. Scott. George C. Scott is fucking brilliant. He's in a great film called The Haunting. No, not The Haunting. Is it Haunting? Oh, fuck. I can't remember. But he played Patton in Patton, and that was class. Now, George C. Scott's a fantastic actor.
Wait, wrap it up.
There you go, we wrap it up.
I have a little fact for you, actually.
Go on.
Because I'm going to struggle for a name for this podcast, because usually I try and come up with something funny, and it's been quite serious this week. So, have you heard of the Kit Kat paradox? You know the chocolate bar, the Kit Kat?
Yeah, obviously.
Do you know what the inside of a Kit Kat is made up of? You know a little creamy bit in the inside of a Kit Kat?
Wafer, and it's was it Nutella or something, is it?
Well,
what is it?
The wafer, the bit between the wafer is made up of crushed up Kit Kats.
Crushed up Kit Kats?
Yeah. So where the fuck did they get the first Kit Kat from? Because there were no Kit Kats to crush up beforehand. This is the chicken and the egg all over again.
Nah, they had wafer and they had chocolate, they had sugar, and they just crushed it up and put it in the middle.
But the problem is, they had wafer and chocolate, but they didn't have the Kit Kat crushed up gum.
Is this a serious question you're asking me, or are you acting the MAGA here? Because basically, when they were going to make fucking Kit Kats, they would have had like fucking a million bleeding ingredients for the wafers and the fucking chocolate and the fucking everything else. And they would have just fucking started making them. That doesn't work. Crush that up, actually make that into a paste and put that in the middle of the fucking wafers. That's obviously what happened.
I've never seen that even so fucking work. Now, explain the chicken and the egg to me. Which came first?
Derek.
Think about no. You're after figuring out the Kit Kat paradox now. So, Mr. Fucking Science, go on.
Well, obviously, you're going to end up having the not nearly fucking alert enough, qualified enough, or fucking even have an inkling of understanding to even start this. But you're going to have to trace that right back to when fucking mammals came out of the fucking sea and onto the fucking soil and started learning how to live on fucking air, on fucking actual earth as opposed to in the sea.
How many mammals lay eggs?
I don't know, Derek. How many?
Platypus. So which came first? Platypus.
Is that true? The platypus lays an egg?
Platypus lays an egg and it's a mammal.
Fuck me.
Why does it lay eggs?
I don't know.
Well, neither do I.
Did you ask it?
Oh. I've never seen a platypus. I'm not even sure they exist.
Yes, they do. Duck-billed platypus.
Yeah. Why does it have a duck bill? Is it part?
Well, Derek, we're like two duck-billed platypuses in a world of great white sharks.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's your title for the show.
And plus, I'm tired.
On that note, good luck now.
Oh, now how do I turn this fucking thing off? Oh shit! It was on mute all the time.
Tell me you're messing.